Hey everybody, this is Howard speaking. I made videos in the past about dyslexic and about being dyslexic and about being a writer with dyslexia. They were okay. they weren't the greatest. I am not going to be a juggernaut in the YouTube video thing. It would be cool. I mean, who knows what happens. I took a long time off. I had a friend of mine who told me that YouTube does not like me, and that's fine. I can live with it. I could definitely live with it. Being liked isn't always the thing that it's always nice to be liked, but you have to start out somewhere, So, this is about, like I said, it's about being dyslexic, about being a writer, and the struggles that I have. I am now currently writing the Conduit novel, which is doing really, really well on Wattpad, which I will actually put information down on it so that you can access it and read it for yourself. I do my own editing, and I edit as I write, and I kind of have to because it will not be readable, and I'll be like, what the heck am I trying to say here? Because if you're out of the moment, you're not going to know, or you couldn't remember, and I might have to scrap. So, that being said, some of the rules of writing may or may not reflect us as being dyslexic. The rule is read so that you know what good reading or what good writing is, and do that and everything. My favorite author was Edgar Allan Poe, always will be and always has in the past. He, Telltale Heart, The Black Cat. There's a lot. Those are two. I really. Hop Frog is another one I liked. He's a little on the uppity side of writing, which is fine. It's okay. And there's times I kind of emulated how he wrote, and that's really difficult because being in a different time period that I am in, Stephen King and all these other authors that we have today, it's difficult because they actually used a lot more sophisticated words back then than what we do now, which is sad. It really is sad if you think about it. But you can learn, and you can learn from those people. However, if you have a very hard time reading, all is not lost. When I started to do the writing, okay, I actually started when I was, I did some in elementary, and then I kind of did on and off throughout my school years. It wasn't until we moved to Florida, and it was a small little rural town that I felt lost in because I was from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and a teacher, Mrs. Dart, really saw potential in me as a writer. Actually, she wanted me to write screenplays for the school, and be with other people who really wanted to be writers, and everything. She thought I was gifted. If you I was actually trying to write a novel back then. I didn't know what a novel looked like. I had no clue, because I just never picked up a novel in my whole life. And when I was a kid, I was getting ready for a bodybuilding competition. I did powerlifting and all that good stuff. Yeah, so I take that back. When Terminator 2 came out, I bought the novel for Terminator 2. It was exactly the same as the movie and everything. But what was good about it was that, and I actually read Total Recall. It was the same exact thing as the movie. But what was good is that it showed how it was written, and how it was done. But like I said, and I was 26, 27, around there somewhere. I think it was around 26 when I was tested, not for dyslexia, because I knew I had dyslexia way before that. It was probably first grade. Yeah, Mrs. Lavia noticed I was struggling big time. But I had a test. I was doing some kind of government thing, assistance, which was really good. What was really good for me is that if you were a part of that government assistance, and someone hired you and they knew that you were doing vocational rehab, which I was, they get a huge tax thing on you. So you're not a liability. You're an asset to a company, which I kind of like and kind of didn't at the same time, because it wasn't me that they wanted. It was just the tax relief that Walmart was getting. And Walmart does not pay taxes, so screw them. Right? That's how I felt about it. So anyway, I'm not trying to get political. I won't do that. This is fun. I want to do fun things, and that's all I want to do. So anyway, when the author like J.K. Rowling and Stephen King and so many other authors that you probably will listen to or hear about, and they'll say read. Okay, I know I got off topic, but anyway, all is not lost if you have a hard time reading. I was 26. When I was 26, I was diagnosed with, a third grade reading. Okay. Maybe barely. And, and I was actually told by the rehab, the people who were in charge of me, said to me they didn't understand why I wanted to get my high school diploma. They said, you're never going to get it. Your scores are so low. You're never going to get it. I got it my second try. I passed everything else except for the math. And I missed it by 3 lousy points. 3 lousy points, I missed it. So I took it again and I got it. And I scored really high on it. Don't ever let people put you down. And that's a hard thing, because I lived most of my life with self-loathing, major self-loathing of myself, because you just feel like you can't do anything. You see people just take off and do things, running. I ran cash registers. It's a pain in the ass. Counting change is a pain in the ass. I've had a lot of customers looked at me oddly. I have a very hard time counting change. I am sick and tired of people always constantly telling me I have a boyfriend who has dyslexia and he can count change. Good for him. There are people who have dyslexia and can memorize their times tables. I can't. I cannot remember my times tables. I just can't do it. It doesn't matter how hard I work at it. I cannot memorize my times tables. I did that when I was getting my high school diploma. And then I took a few days off. I had to go right back to the beginning again. You know what I mean? Because I forgot. To this day, I don't even know, 7 times whatever is, anymore. And then I had a teacher that told me in the adult education, she said to me, that's part of your problem. of your dyslexia. I said, are you serious? She goes, yeah, it is. They just found out that not all dyslexics can memorize their times tables. However, here's an interesting thing. Now I'm on camera. It's going to be opposite, okay? But, right hand to God. But what's interesting is that I am unique as a dyslexic. I am right-handed, okay? This is actually my right hand. It's not this because it's camera. But anyway, right hand to God. Most dyslexics are left-handed people. However, most left-handed people are backwards thinkers. Most people don't know that. Okay. So, if you have a below third grade reading level and you think you can't be a writer, is a bunch of crap. Okay. It's an excuse not to do something that's hard. All right. There's many times I wanted to throw my freaking laptop out the freaking window because I could not get what I was trying to say. And that is so difficultly hard, okay? One thing you got to remember is that you do not have brain damage, okay? There is no damage to your brain whatsoever. You have to rewire the brain, okay, for it to work for you and not against you, okay? And I know people who don't have any form of disabilities and their brains are working against them too. So, but imagine this is your brain, okay? All right, and these are like your nerves, okay, or the sensors, whatever they neurons. I think that's what they're called, okay. Okay, so the problem is that especially with men, okay, this is something with right brain, left brain thinking, okay, and this is really interesting. If these are neurons and they're connecting perfectly in your brain, okay, since I am a man, okay, I have testosterone. Testosterone can actually cause, too much of it can cause dyslexia. That actually happens with female bodybuilders, okay, who take steroids. They also start having problems reading and writing, comprehension and everything. Is because the testosterone in your body does this. It overlaps. It's not connecting perfectly to your... That's why men think the way we do. Women have what's called estrogen, okay? So what that does, it perfectly fits the neurons together. And then you got what's called women's intuition. It's, they feel it. Can it be a spiritual thing? I don't know. It could be, but it could also be a physical thing, because not only do women have perfectly aligned, okay, neurons, okay, they're perfectly charging. They can think on two sides of the hemisphere of the brain. Men can only think on one side. I think it's left. I can't ever remember which one is, left or right. One deals with emotion, okay? I think it's the right that deals with emotion, and left that deals with the nuts and bolts. That's what I like to call it, which is what do you call that? I'm trying to think of the name of it right now. It's logical thinking. That's it. I just couldn't think of it. It's logic thinking and everything. Okay. So women can bounce. That's why women can sit there on the couch to go, "Oh my God, my husband's cheating on me," and she has no clue. She has absolutely no proof of it, but she just feels. It's because women can actually use two sides of their, hemispheres of their brain. a lot better than what we can as men. Of course, brain changes as you get older. It doesn't get any easy. It doesn't get easier. However, I think with dyslexics, it does get easier because we start to pick up on things a lot better. I can now read. I can actually tell time by reading a hand clock, which I couldn't do for a long time, and everything. So anyway. So yeah, going back to the brain and everything. So being a man, you're already overlapping. Okay. Being dyslexic, it doesn't change. Okay, it doesn't change. But what you got to do is that you got to remap your brain, and the only way you can do that is by reading and writing. And you may never be able to read really well. And you may never be able to read maybe a novel. Okay? And that's fine. That doesn't mean that you cannot be a writer. Hans Christian Andersen had no clue of why syllables were able to form words. I am in the same category as Hans Christian Andersen. Because when I was a kid, we had to clap our hands, arithmetic, I never understood. I didn't have a teacher that really sat there and really explained to me until I got older. And I started thinking, how to spell certain words and stuff. And I was like, oh, syllables. Oh, it's breaking down on the word, but I still really can't use it. Or was it I before E except after C? Something like I don't even remember those rules. Those rules were so freaking difficult, and they were so archaic in a lot of ways. Hans Christian Andersen was so dyslexic that he did his he did his work through puppets. He was a puppeteer. He didn't. I don't think he wrote anything. I think someone else wrote his stories for him, if I'm not mistaken. And he came up with Little Mermaid and and all these other great stories. He did. I mean, he just awesome writer. Awesome mind. What's really positive about being dyslexic is that you're artistic. Not all dyslexics are going to be a painter or a writer or directing movies, but that's where a lot of us seem to end up. We end up going to Hollywood. We end up making movies. We end up being that Steven Spielberg, very dyslexic person. What's his Will Smith. So dyslexic that he was so frustrated because he could not understand the written word very well. And I remember, I think his son might have it too, because I saw him on an award ceremony, and he might have been nervous. Okay, I'll give him that, but I could see him struggling to read the teleprompter, and the little girl that was next to him read it for him. It's not. It might have been nervousness, yes, but I think it was a lot more than that, and everything. So, I remember, my wife Kelly, I was showing some of my work I was writing on, and she got really frustrated. And she's a special ed teacher, and she got really frustrated. And she goes, "That's not even a complete thought." And I said, "Well, it seems complete to me." I don't know what more you want. What I found out is that as you force yourself to write and do creative writing, I didn't understand why my teachers in elementary school always wanted us to do creative writing. I never understood it. I didn't have a problem with it. But what I didn't like was that you had a time period in which to write this in, obviously. You had pretty much a day, that day. And that's, and they expect you to last throughout the whole day, really. And you would think that would be kind of that would be awesome, for a person like, yeah, I didn't mind it. We had to take a picture. There was a picture. There was a black and white picture, and then we had to make up some story, which was fun. It was a fun thing to do. The reason why they wanted you to do that is because they wanted you to understand how to use periods, how to use question marks, how to use exclamation points, how to use commas and all that, and everything. Silly me, I thought I could write something that you don't need any of that stuff. Obviously periods and question marks is about all I was working with. So if you force yourself to write, you're going to read better. And the reason why you're going to read better, okay, is because if you have software, like I said before, Grammarly and Pro Writing Aid, and you have that turned on, it's going to be a pain in the ass because it's going to flash wrong. There's times I had to turn it off so I could just concentrate on writing and then turn it back on and do my corrections that way. Keep it on because it will show you where you need a comma. It will show you where you need a semicolon. It will show you where you need a colon. It will show you this needs to be down here because it's a new paragraph, and that's a hard thing for dyslexic people as far as writers and writing, is knowing when you need to start a new paragraph, and that can be very difficult. I'm always fairly good at that. Very rarely will I actually make, if I'm in a zone of writing, okay, I will never ever think. I just don't think. I just keep writing because you're in a hypnotic trance, and then you got misspelled words everywhere, not because of my problem, but because you're just so in a zone. You're you know what I mean. So you don't really you're not paying attention. But if you have those things on, okay, those type of softwares on, I like Pro Writing Aid. I like Pro Writing Aid a lot because I think it's 170 something or 180. I can't remember what the price was. What I like about it, you pay that, you own it for life. It's a life thing, okay? Own it for life. You never have to make a monthly payment or a yearly payment. You just own it. I wish more companies would do this. I also like Grammarly. Okay, now that's a monthly thing. I think they do now have a lifetime thing. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but I do think they do have a yearly. And I think that's a little on the expensive side. I think the yearly is very expensive, and I don't think it's worth, But I do have. You can use it for free. Okay, I'm premium for Grammarly, and I'm also premium for Pro Writing Aid. If you're serious about doing this, you need to buy both of them. You just need to bite the freaking bullet and buy it. Okay, it's going to save your life as a writer, and even if you don't have a learning disability, it's going to still help you in a long way. So look like I'm a little lopsided, but anyway, colored lenses. I don't know if it really shows, but this is kind of a light blue tint. This was cobalt blue. It's a very light. It's almost like lilac almost. Blue seems to work well with me. Some people with dyslexia says that yellow is good. I think it's blue, yellow, orange. I'm not sure. I know blue and yellow are the biggest. I even have rose tinted glasses, For me, it's more of a style, but it is functionality. A lot of dyslexic people say that it keeps the words still. You know, blue seems to work for me. I just kind of like blue. I got a new pair of glasses that's coming, and that's a it's a green. You know, it's like a smoky green or something like that. And I thought that looked kind of cool, so I decided, yeah, let's do that. You know, let's try that out. They say if you don't like it, you can always take it back, and we'll fix it for you for free, obviously. So work with that. Work with different colors. Okay, that actually might actually help you in the long run. I just want to put out that I'm trying to get back to YouTube. Like I said, I had a huge anxiety of being recorded. I almost felt like I was a little nervous. You know, I feel like I'm warming up. Maybe I'm just getting older and just don't care anymore. And that could be, you know. But the next video I want to do is Stephen King with his family. This is really kind of cool. Stephen King was with some kind of auditorium. I was getting a little bit of an echoing, but not bad. Okay, so what I'm thinking about doing is when I have the video play, okay, I'll have my mic muted. And that seemed to kind of help a little bit. It's not bad. It's not like it's so distorted you can't understand anything. He is in an auditorium, for God's sakes. His voice is going to bounce. But I just noticed it was a little on the minimal when I muted my mic. And then I'll pause and then unmute and then talk about what he said and do the same thing and everything. The bottom line is, it doesn't matter what J.R. Rawlings or Stephen King says what you need to do to be a good writer. They don't even say that. You know, they're good people. They really are. Okay? And they're just saying what worked for them. Okay? If you have problems reading, I know I keep kind of going into a loop here. It's part of the problem. But if you do have problems reading, start writing. Do that. Have the correct, you know, whatever software you're using, even if it's what they have already on these writing, you know, these the word processing or whatever. If you use Office, I personally like Trio. It's like $15 and you own it, or I think it's like $11. It's not very expensive. It looks like Microsoft. Oh my God, does it look like Microsoft? So if you like Word, you'll love Trio. I would definitely recommend Trio, and Grammarly and Pro Writing Aid works with that, because it is like a Microsoft-based type of program. It isn't Microsoft, but Microsoft Store sells it. Buy it. It's really great. I work with... it's online. What is the name of that? Shoot, what is the name of that? Docs. I use Google Docs for my writings. It's okay. A lot of times, sometimes it seems like it kind of screws things up a little bit. I like it. I mean, it's not bad. What I do like about it is that it's on the internet. So you always have your work with you no matter what. And what's really good about Pro Writing Aid, Pro Writing Aid, is that whatever that you uploaded to that onto its website, it saves. So you have all your original work. You don't have to have it on your computer. If you want to, get a hard drive, external hard drive, put it on there, and do it that way. But it's really nice. And I said, oh my God, this is all my old stuff that I'd done, a couple years ago, and I thought that was really kind of cool. So that does that for you, and work with that, those programs. But going back to, if you're having problems reading, try writing and use audiobooks. There was a big debate about, if you're using Audible, okay, are you really reading a book? To some people, yes. Hey, you could be blind. You can't read a book if you're blind, and it's really difficult if you're dyslexic. It's even harder if you're blind, So, if you do that and you're and you like to write and everything, try to imagine how it would look as the actor or whoever is reading the book. Try to imagine how that would look like as words. And and what I like about what Audible does, Amazon does, with Kindle, and Kindle, get a Kindle Fire, it can read the book for you. That's even better, because I got a new one. The brand new ones, they read the books for you, and you can do that way, and have headphones on and just watch this, light up each word as it's reading it out to you and everything. That's going to make you better. Turning on your closed caption on your TV works better too, because that's basically script that you're seeing on TV. This is what, kind of what actors look at, kind of, sort of, if you're really serious, look for writing groups in your area. Someone told me it was Jessica Baumgartner. She's a writer. She's a professional writer. She's a very good writer. Look her up on Amazon as well. She told me to go to libraries and all that. I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? Just take my laptop and say, okay, correct this for me? I didn't understand what she meant. There's probably clubs and groups and stuff like that. I doubt it. I mean, I don't know, but there is actually around my area, yeah, and everything. And I actually I enjoy those people. They're fun people to talk to. One person has actually worked for a publishing house, apparently, and he said, I just want to, I don't want to do that anymore, but everyone's, I'm going, when the Conduit comes out, okay, when it actually is done, and I don't think it's going to take that much longer. I'm going to put it on Amazon and see how it goes, for me. I'm getting a lot of good compliments on Wattpad. So, but there's always a way around things if you want to do it. There was a girl that I talked to, very attractive, very beautiful woman. She was from Ohio, and I think she left Wattpad, and it broke my heart. Her writing was really bad. I asked her, I said, do not take this as a, don't take this a bad way, but do you have a reading and writing problem? Don't be ashamed. I have it, because it's on my, it's actually on my profile that I have a learning problem, have dyslexia. And I said, I'm not trying to be mean to you, but I said, you do not know how to use periods. It's all over the place. I said, it's really messy. But I said, I understand where you're going with the story. The story's good. It really isn't bad at all. You just need to clean it up. And I even offered, I said, if you want me to, if you're using Google Docs, send me a Google Docs through email. That was my phone.
Okay, but first you'll have to unlock your device.
Shut up. So anyway, she could just send me Google Docs, and then I can correct it for her, and then send it back to her and everything. It's getting to a point right now that and a lot of people, my wife, my friends, are saying, "Holy crap! It's almost like you don't have dyslexia anymore," and I do. I struggle really hard with it, but I am getting so much better off of it. If you watch this video, I don't care if you watched it. It's an entirety, because I wouldn't. But if you did, thank you. Like I said, I'm going to work on another video with Stephen King, doing a reaction to Stephen King. Probably later on tonight. I don't know. I haven't eaten anything all day. I'm diabetic on top of everything, so I need to do that. And I have to take my medication. I forgot about that too. So I am getting so old. So anyway, I'm going to leave with this. But remember, something that's worthwhile doing, it's going to be difficult. And it's worth doing. It's worth doing. It's worth pursuing. And if you get it into your head that you want to be as rich as J.K. Rowling or as rich as Stephen King, and you want to be popular and famous, they have their problems you probably don't want. Being a nobody, quote, I'm not saying you're a nobody, just saying it's not bad to fly under the radar. It really is. It really isn't. And if you can make it as a writer, what people would refer to you as an occult writer, which sounds horrible, but if you have an occult following, it's not a bad thing. It's really not a bad thing to have. I'm trying to think. Rocky Horror Picture Show is an occult film. UHF, Weird Al Yankovic, that's an occult film as well. I love that. I thought that movie was funny as hell. Of course, as I getting older, I go, Jesus, was ridiculously stupid, but I loved it. I mean, it brings back memories. Killer Tomatoes, an occult following on that too. They're not the best of the film industry, obviously, but they're entertaining. And if you can get at least 60 people to buy your book, it's worth doing. It really is. It's fun to do. And you got 60 people who like you, and it's looking, and they're asking, hey, when are you going to drop another, book, and everything. And that's great. You can only get better. And that's the bottom line. All right. Take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.